Science Journal for Kids and Teens presents What Can Fossils Tell Us About Growing Up? Read by Miranda Wilson. Abstract. Did you know that some animals like crocodiles and sharks keep growing larger as they get older? Mammals are not like that. We only grow during the first part of our lives. We were curious about how this trait evolved, so we used X-rays and 3D imaging to look at two small mammal-like fossils from the Jurassic. The fossils were from a juvenile and an adult. We found they grew more slowly than mammals do today. This helps us better understand the evolution of mammals. Introduction. Have you already lost your baby teeth? Do you ever wonder why you even had baby teeth at all? It turns out most other mammals have them too. From tiny mice to large rhinos, modern mammals have an amazing variety of shapes, sizes, and behaviors. Despite the differences, all mammals have a few things in common. We all need to breathe air, we all have hair or fur, though some mammals don't have very much of it, and we are warm-blooded. We even have similarly shaped hearts. These things may seem like a coincidence, but to a biologist, it's a big clue that we share a common ancestor. We share these traits because all mammals descended from the same ancient animals. We adapted and changed over millions and millions of years. Studying the evolution of species is tricky. Paleontologists look for fossils to learn more about the story of life on Earth. Fossils are rare. For an organism to turn into a fossil when it dies, a lot of things have to happen just right. Usually, only the hard parts of an organism can turn into fossils, like bones, teeth, and claws. We studied two amazing fossils of a mammal-like animal called Crocodile kirtlingensis. Crocodile lived in the Jurassic period. They are part of a group of animals called mammaliforms, which includes all mammals and their closest ancient ancestors. Our fossil finds were from a juvenile and an adult. We asked ourselves, could these fossils help us answer questions about how mammal life cycles evolved? In this image, you can see these 3D printed Crocodile skulls, which were 3 times the actual size. In the photo, a person is holding 2 skulls in their hand. A smaller one is above a larger one. Both skulls have mouths facing to the left. Methods. We used a technique called computed tomography to analyze the fossils. This technique uses X-rays from multiple angles to make a 3D picture of the fossils without having to scrape away all the rocks surrounding it. We made a digital model of the fossils from the 3D scans. Then we looked for clues that would tell us about the age and size of the animal. We carefully labeled and measured each bone and tooth. In the juvenile, we also looked at the order the adult teeth were coming in. Another important clue comes from the dental cementum. This is the hard material covering the roots of your teeth. Your body is always making more layers of cementum. The pattern of dark and light layers in cementum tracks how many years old the tooth is, like the rings in a tree. So, we counted the layers of cementum in each specimen's teeth to estimate their age. Here in Figure 1, you can see we investigated 2 fossils of Crocodile kirtlingensis. We showed an outline of what the adult and juvenile would have looked like, with all the bones we found sorted and put in place. The adult is on the top and the juvenile is on the bottom. Corresponding bones can be found in the same color in each outline. On the bottom right, you can see the scale bars for 1 centimeter and 1 inch. Results. We estimate that the juvenile Crocodile was between 7 months and 2 years old, and the adult was at least 7 years old. About half of the juvenile's adult teeth had already come in. Using the sizes of the leg bones, we estimated that the adult's mass was between 54 and 156 grams. The juvenile was between 32 and 80 grams. So, we think that the juvenile was at least half its adult size. That means it was probably already past weaning age. We compared the juvenile Crocodile's growth stage to modern animals of similar size. Most small mammals today would already be at 100% of their adult weight by their first birthday, but Crocodile was only a little past halfway there. That means that Crocodile must have grown up at a much slower rate than mammals do today. Here in Figure 2, we compared the growth rate of Crocodile to mammals that exist today. Each line tracks the growth of an animal from birth to weaning to the time it reaches its full adult size. The star shows the estimated age and size of the juvenile Crocodile. You can see it grew much more slowly than modern mammals of a similar size. On the x-axis of the graph, you can see the age of the animal in days since birth. On the y-axis, you can see the percent of adult body mass. The least true is in yellow, represented by circles. The rat is in light purple and represented by squares. The juvenile Crocodile is represented by a dark purple star, and the American black bear is in red, represented by triangles. Looking at the graph, did Crocodile grow up faster or slower than other mammals of similar size? How can you tell? Discussion. It's lucky to find a fossil of even one bone. It's luckier to find a nearly complete skeleton. But to study the life cycle, you need to find fossils from animals of different ages. That's why we were excited to find Crocodile fossils from both a juvenile and an adult. When we find fossils with the same traits as an animal alive today, it's a good sign that that trait evolved even earlier. When a dentist looks at your teeth, they look to see if your teeth are growing in the right order. The juvenile Crocodile's adult teeth were emerging in a similar way to modern mammals, so we can tell that this pattern appeared much earlier. But when we looked at Crocodile's teeth compared to its age, we could tell that it was growing up at a much slower rate. We also know animals like Crocodile kept growing when they were adults. Little clues like this help us piece together the big picture of evolution. Our study tells us that there must have been a big change in the life cycle of mammals sometime after Crocodile to make them grow up more quickly, and then stop growing when they were adults. Conclusion. Humans and other mammals go through major changes as we grow up. Think about the differences between babies, elementary school kids, teens, and adults. What do you think are the biggest milestones along the way? It might seem strange, but you share many of these milestones with other animals. We are more closely related than it sometimes appears. If you can, visit a zoo, natural history museum, or wildlife preserve in your area. What similarities can you find between yourself and the animals you see? Thank you for listening to this recording. This work has been adapted from the original peer-reviewed paper in the journal Nature, published on July 24, 2024. Research conducted by Elsa Pancharoli and others from the Natural Sciences Department at the National Museum, Scotland in the UK. See the full list of authors and their affiliations in the accompanying PDF. Picture credit goes to Maya Kerala. Please visit our website, sciencejournalforkids.org, for more free science teaching resources.